In the book of Exodus, chapter 33, verses 1 through 6, God instructs Moses to lead the Israelites to the promised land, assuring them of his promise but warning of his absence due to their stubbornness. This passage highlights the tension between divine promise and human frailty. It reminds us that while God's promises are steadfast, our actions can affect our relationship with Him. In our lives, we must strive to align our actions with God's will, ensuring His presence remains with us. In verses 7 through 11, Moses sets up the tent of meeting outside the camp, where he speaks to God face to face, as one speaks to a friend. This intimate encounter emphasizes the importance of personal communion with God. It encourages us to seek a personal relationship with the divine, where we can converse openly and honestly, finding guidance and comfort in His presence. Verses 12 through 17 reveal Moses' intercession for the people, pleading for God's presence to accompany them. God reassures Moses, promising His presence and rest. This section teaches us the power of intercessory prayer and the assurance that God listens to our pleas. In our lives, we are encouraged to pray not only for ourselves but for others, trusting in God's compassionate response. In verses 18 through 20, Moses boldly asks to see God's glory. God agrees to show His goodness, but warns that no one can see His face and live. This passage illustrates the balance between God's transcendence and immanence. It invites us to seek God's glory in our lives, understanding that while we may not fully comprehend His ways, His goodness is always present. Finally, in verses 21 through 23, God places Moses in a cleft of the rock, covering him with His hand as His glory passes by. This act of divine protection and revelation reassures us of God's care and the mystery of His presence. It encourages us to trust in God's protection and to remain open to His revelations in our lives, even when we cannot see the full picture.